All right. I think we got it now. I think we got it. Are we all good? Have we got the sound? Have we got the sound working? My apologies to everybody if you can hear me. We had an unsuccessful attempt to go live because of some sort of I don't know what the hell kind of problem, some sort of crazy problem with the audio. Danny, how you doing? Says good evening, everyone. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone is doing well. Well, we hope you're doing well as well. Trudeau Survivor, good to see you. All right, can you guys hear me? You guys can hear me? Good. Trudeau Survivor says yes. Great. Excellent. Okay, let's get started with the show then. After that terrifying technical difficulty there. All right, what are we going to talk about? Well, let's go to the menu, then we'll come back to the chat and see if anybody is there. It doesn't look like most of the people came back. There's Rosie's come back. There we go, Rosie. How you doing? All right, sound is good. Excellent. All right. I think everybody will find their way back after that disastrous start to the stream. That absolute disaster. That was the beginning of the stream. All right. So we're going to talk about Mexico because Mexico is, there's been a drug, a narco, El Mencho, I think his name is, killed by the Mexican government. And so it's popping off down there. So we're going to take a look at that. There has been another attempt, yet another person attempting to kill Trump. So he's no longer with us. We'll take a look at that. I mean, crazy. There's all kinds of different information coming out about this guy. Who knows what's true, what isn't? It's always the same. It really takes a day or two to kind of suss out what is real and what isn't. Let's see. We got Woke Canada. School board refuses to disclose 70,000 anti-Palestinian racism training video. They're getting really specific now, really specific. It's just Canada is just running off a cliff. Total insanity. As woke as you can get, every institution. Here's Danielle Smith. She's talking about the names that are being called. She correctly named immigration, mass immigration, as a major problem for Alberta. And of course, she's being attacked for accurately describing reality because it's Canada. Let's say the EU. What's going on? Oh, the EU is just insane. They are suicidal as well. Maybe even worse than Canada. We've got Rupert Lowe talking to Carl Benjamin here. I think he is basically the UK's last hope. We've got some Canadian media bias. So here they have to do the struggle session with Gretzky during the hockey game. Or yesterday, the game yesterday, was it the day before? I don't know. I'm not even following it that closely, to be honest. I did watch the game earlier today. Let's see. Bill Barr, this is a bunch of stuff you guys sent, and I apologize. I just didn't have time. There's not much in there. I apologize. I did not have time to go through the stuff you guys sent on X. I just didn't have time today. Sometimes I don't. So that's stuff we can get to tomorrow. I want to keep this stream kind of short if we can. And so let's get to the chat. All right. So as everybody knows, we're streaming on Rumble, on YouTube, on X, and on Locals right now. And when you when you subscribe to the channel, become a member, even a paying member, you get free you get good karma. Obviously, a lot of good karma. When you go crazy and just decide you want to give me money, that's free good karma. The easiest way, just like the stream, like that stream, and you're going to get some free good karma. And if you're early into the stream, you get extra. Trudeau Survivor, first like. That's 6 good karmas right there. Boom. Right in your pocket there. Right in your pocket. Let's say, nobody else is telling me what else. I'm guessing Rosie got the second. That'd be 5, Rosie. Rosie says, Richie, what happened? How did you fix it? Did you update that? No, I did not. No, I just had to turn the computer off and on again. So I just restarted the computer. I normally do that before every stream because that's just the safest way of doing it. This time I was rushed today. Again, I didn't even have time to get through you guys' submissions on X. I just didn't have time. and just I was rushing and forgot. And yeah, so normally I do that. I didn't this time, and of course, something went wrong. Of course, something went wrong. Denny says Canada lost hockey. Well, I did watch it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I got into it about the second period. It was really early. And of course, I wanted Canada to win, but I knew that they wouldn't. I knew that the U.S. was going to win. And the reason why is very simple. Canada has become an affront to nature, and we have deeply, deeply offended the universe. And through our choices, through our idiotic choices, through the insane, awful, woke things that Canada now stands for, right? Like fining people $750,000 for not believing in insane gender metaphysical gibberish, for child sex changes, for made for people, medical assistance and dying for people with depression, 26-year-olds. Canada has become an affront to nature. It has deeply, deeply offended the universe. And now we have the Carney curse, because that was our opportunity to turn things around. That last election. And what does Canada do in all of its ignorance and stupidity? It doubles down, elbows up, everybody. Get her done, get her done. Get that country right off the cliff. So we have been cursed by nature, by the universe. And so let's see. You had the women's rugby team, I think it was. They lost. You had the Oilers lost in the finals. You had the MLS, the Vancouver Whitecaps, lose in the finals. You've got the men's and the women's Olympic hockey teams losing in the final game. You had the Blue Jays losing. Canada can't win anything right now because we've angered the universe. And I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. Of course, I want Canada to win. Of course, I want to see Connor McDavid get that gold medal. Of course, I do. But I knew it wouldn't happen. I knew it wouldn't happen, and I called it. I said this on the last stream. I said we've got the Carney curse until we rid ourselves of these scoundrels that have been ruling us like emperors. Until we revolt against it, we are going to be in the universe's bad books. As long as we continue to be an affront to nature, this isn't going to change. So anyway, that's yeah. So Denny says Canada lost hockey. They did, and I knew that they would. I knew it. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, I vaguely recall that the strategy of rebooting computers daily is used by some corporations to ensure reliability. Well, I mean, I'm not a corporation, but I normally do turn the computer off, restart the computer before stream, because everything seems to go smoother. I was in a rush today. I didn't have time. And, well, you saw what happened. You saw what happened. The ugly reality. Anyway, I guess you could say I fucked up big time. That's what happened. All right. Anyway, I hope that explains to you sufficiently what happened with the hockey today. All right. Shall we just get to the news? Let's do it. Okay, I want to check out Newsmax first and see what they're talking about. Let's check it out. Hold on. It's the only live news I can find right now. But I want to see if they're saying anything about Mexico. Oh, hold on.
We'll see if Trump launched. That's all I want to do. I wake up in the morning. The first thing I do is look on my phone to see if Trump launched. That's all. See, launch? No, the world's still here. Okay, that's all I want to see.
Well, that's the other thing, too. So you got Iran going on. You just had another guy trying to kill Trump. You got Mexico popping off. You got Iran. We're waiting to see what happens with Iran. It sounds, I saw something earlier saying that, well, maybe 10, 12 days, something like that, if Iran doesn't agree to whatever terms. So I don't think we'll see anything on that tonight.
Most people who are in MAGA are like loyal worshipers. They can't even think for themselves. They're almost no different than the liberals. They're just sheeple. They go along with the program. So I can't say I'm happy with the state of the country right now. I can't.
Michael Savage. So that's not what I see from MAGA. I see them disagreeing with Trump all the time. I see you guys not liking things coming from Trump. You guys aren't afraid to say it. So that's not what I see. This is like a myth. And this is on Newsmax. Michael Savage, I think he's a conservative, isn't he? Right? I'm pretty sure he's a conservative. But this is a weird myth that I keep seeing. And it's just not true. This is not my experience dealing with people in the States who are Trump supporters. It does not seem like a cult at all. You guys seem to be very, very happy and willing to criticize Trump when you don't like what he's done. So they keep saying this, and this guy, they keep saying stuff like this, but I just don't see it. I mean, and maybe it's X. Maybe it's X, because X is not real, just as X is not real, just as any social media isn't real in terms of you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt and you've got to discriminate, right? So if you just want to see a bunch of bots all the time, telling, like, if that's what this guy is seeing, well, you'll see that. Judo Survivor says Michael Savage sounds like a lib. Well, the thing is, like, there's things to criticize Trump over, and you guys do criticize Trump, right? You guys were all about all that, about the Epstein file stuff. I know that. I'm not seeing any of this sheeple stuff. I'm not seeing that. I see that on the left. The left is just a giant conformity factory at this point. Oh, I accidentally just kicked Mr. Snacks. Poor guy. Sorry, buddy. Not hard. I didn't kick him hard. It was just like my foot touched him. That's really what happened. But he was distressed by it. So now I'm rubbing him behind the ears. There we go. All right. Trudeau Survivor says, do we get a voucher for the delay? No. Denny says, MAID program is now international news. Tim Pool called out Trump to boycott Canada and trade with Canada. Yeah, I've seen that a couple of people. I think Matt Walsh as well. Canada is a cautionary tale now. It's a cautionary tale. It really is as bad as it seems. All right. ICE has become a paramilitary force. No, they weren't a paramilitary force under Obama when they deported 6 million people either. I don't know what's going on. All right, so let's take a look. What's going on in Mexico? Rosie says, Mr. Snacks deserved it. I am short. No, I didn't even kick him. I just moved my foot and touched him, and then he got up. He won, Trader Strive says, what kind of lowlife kicks his own dog? Screw you, man. Screw you. What's going on here? Narco warfare. Mexico deploys Air Force as cartel weapons outgun local police in deadly raid. Cartel weapons outgun local police in deadly raid. That's happened before, The El Chapo's son, they caught him and then ended up being surrounded by the cartel that was better armed than them. I think at an actual police station, and ended up having to just give them back. So it's basically, there's a parallel state and a parallel military. Let's take a look. Cartels outgun police. Rocket launcher seized in El Mencho raid. Spotlight. The CJNY. It's the, what are they called? The new generation. Ruben El Mencho Cervantes led the El Mencho led CJ NG Jalisco New Generation, which previously used rocket-propelled grenades to bring down a Mexican military helicopter in 2015. And I can't talk. Let's see. Mexican forces seized rocket launchers capable of shooting down aircraft during the Operation Sunday that killed cartel boss Ruben Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho, underscoring how the Mexican Jalisco New Generation Cartel amassed military-style firepower over the years. All right. So let's take a look at some of the video I've collected. What's going on down there? So here we have chaos at Guadalajara International Airport. Videos show employees sprinting for cover as reports spread of armed men inside the terminal. Let's take a look.
Gente corriendo. Gente corriendo.
Yeah, the airport is shut down. Guadalajara, and I think Puerto Vallarta, that airport is shut down as well. Vehicles torched and thick smoke across parts of Mexico. Let's see. Well, actually, let's check out this one.
No mames. ¿Están bien?
People are getting the hell out of there. What do we have here?
Mira, en la placa. Mira, ese de abajo, mira. Y todos esos vatos traen, mira, el del taxi. Todos esos vatos traen, mira, el del taxi, súbete, cabrón, órale. Mira, tirando la compra de ella. ¿Por qué no se movía de esta? Mira. No hay incendio ahí arriba. ¿Ya viste? Hey, no, son varios cabrones.
So anytime stuff like this happens, there are people that will just flood the internet with old stuff or not related or even from different countries just to kind of get views. So I can't confirm this stuff for sure, but this is what people are putting up. And of course, now you've got AI to contend with as well. But let's take a look.
¿Ya lo prendieron?
So, I mean, it's the sort of stuff that does happen down there. Heavy clashes taking place between Mexican security forces and members of the New Generation Cartel in Guadalajara, Mexico, after the elimination of El Mencho. Let's take a look. I can tell you, I'm really glad I'm not in Mexico. And that is El Mencho there. So what I've been hearing so far is that for, tourists that are down there, American, Canadian, whatever, they should be okay. They don't target them. But I mean, I wouldn't want to be there. Let's take a look.
Qué bonito, nena. ¿Qué quieres que haga? No puedes.
So that's a helicopter firing there. Mexico military helicopters fire on cartel members, setting fires in Puerto Vallarta. What else have we got here? Breaking, U.S. Senator Bernie Moreno is publicly urging Mexico to request U.S. military support as cartels begin to wreak havoc. Now is the time, Mexico. Well, I don't know. I mean, you've got that buildup in Iran right now. I'm not sure. Let's take a look.
So I don't know if you can see that, but I can see the flames underneath that black smoke. Major flames there, huge plumes everywhere. Another big one over there. Another one directly behind this resort we're staying at. Pretty much surrounded by this right now. Really intense scene happening here in Puerto Vallarta. Hopefully we're able to get out tomorrow, but the airports are shut down as it is right now. And as I understand it, military may be getting involved soon. Power may be cut very soon. So pray for us, guys. The situation's intense.
If it were me right now, I would not be hanging around on the beach. I would be hoarding food and water. Most importantly, water. I don't think you want to drink out of the tap. Let's see. Not in Mexico. What do we got here? A gun battle between the Mexican army and the cartel in the small village of Desembocado in the state of Jalisco, Mexico, after the cartel leader was killed. Let's take a look. So again, I can't validate this. When this stuff happens, again, there are, accounts that will flood the internet with totally unrelated stuff, pretending it's that. It's what is happening now. So I don't know, but this is certainly plausible. I mean, for all I know, this could be in Libya, right? This could be footage from Libya from 10 years ago, but it's all very plausible is the thing. Let's see. There we are. There's Puerto Vallarta right there. And I'm hearing it's like across Mexico. So it's not just limited to that area. What do we got next? Yeah, there's the guy, El Mencho. Breaking, U.S. played a role in Mexican-led operation that killed Mexican drug lord El Mencho. A Pentagon joint task force regularly works with the Mexican military. Well, you'd expect that. You would expect that. Let's see. What do we have here? Yeah, there's smoke. Okay. This guy says, bearded vet says, my best friend and his wife just called me and the cartel have them blocked in and can't get to the airport. It's total chaos. I saw an interview on Canadian TV with a Canadian who's down there in Puerto Vallarta, and they're just being told to shelter in place. And they, if you don't have any food with you, you're kind of screwed until this blows over. Apparently, this is the sort of thing that does happen. Not all the time, but it does happen. Usually, it's a few days until you can safely just go to the store, get a cab or something. Let's see. Of course, from Canada, Heather McPherson. She's hopeful for the leadership of the NDP party. Many Canadians, especially members of the 2S LGBTQIA+, I wonder if, I mean, it at least used to just be LGB, right? I wonder if these like Heather McPherson ever, they're typing it in and they go, geez, really? It's this many letters now? Really? Are all of these really something? But anyway, especially members of the alphabet community are in Puerto Vallarta, where violence has quickly escalated, shelter-in-place orders in effect. Especially members of the alphabet community. Many Canadians, especially, the virtue signaling never ends. It never ends. Everything is an opportunity to virtue signal for these people. Amy Eileen Ham says they're not just there, they're especially there, existing more than the boring straight people. Well, yeah, for Heather McPherson, yes, it's important to let everybody know that. Jason Levine says all Canadian travelers are equal, but some Canadian travelers are more equal than others. Right, Heather? I can't believe this post is still up. How do you say I'm trying to get votes without saying I'm trying to get votes? All right. Hold on. Think we've seen all of this stuff. All right. Let's listen to this. So here, this is from August 26th, 2025. So less than a year ago. Ed Calderon. So he's talking about Mexico and that in what ways it's a narco state.
Ruling party all over Mexico called Morena, who is, this is the party of the abrazos no balazos. That's how they started, hugs not bullets against the cartels policy, which allowed them to grow. And also
super effective. Hugs not bullets.
But this is coming off a
Mexico has liberals too, I guess.
Yes, we do. Mexico's three things. Southern Mexico, that's rural Mexico. Central Mexico, that's where all the woke comes from. The capital of Mexico. That's where
Mexico City.
That's where all the gender pronouns get issued into law. That's where violence against women specifically and feminicide is now a new thing cataloged under the law. You can kill a dude, you're fine, but if you kill a woman, that's feminicide, which is way worse. So that's where a lot of that policy comes from. And then northern Mexico, where I'm from, that's where I guess conservative. That's where all the factories are. That's where all the people, the hardworking people, and people that kind of like go the other side of the politics that are woke. That used to be the case, but now Morena's ruling all over the country, and a lot of the policies they're bringing with them are, to the left. Mexico was very tired from the drug war that it had been going on for 20 years, that I was a part of for 12 of those years. They saw Felipe Calderon bring the military into this fight to fight the cartels and just kicking a giant beehive. He really didn't have a clue what he was about to kind of kick off. He had the idea that if you just put the military out, which are not corrupted, well, he thought they were not corrupted, and you militarized a lot of the policing going on around it, you can eliminate all these cartel members. Like, just this guy's gone, and we're going to just now secure this area and control. But it's been just basically gremlins, One gremlin will turn into 4 or 5. You cut one head off and it's a hydra. It's just a bunch of heads come out now. So Mexico has been going through that for a while. And
Hugs, not bullets. I'd say that didn't really work. Doesn't seem like. How about this one? Alexandra Lavoie from Rebel News. So she says, my colleague on the ground in Mexico speaks about the cartel war unfolding in the region as the Trump administration continues with the Don Roe doctrine. Let's take a look.
Yes. Well, the situation is still unfolding. So there's a lot of distortion and misinformation circulating. Mexicans, depending on where they live, are obviously concerned, but they're also somewhat used to this kind of operation. That said, this appears to be a historic operation, because we're talking about someone who allegedly operated with impunity for about 20 years, likely the head of what is considered the most powerful cartel in Mexico. What's important to understand is that the narcos are not involved only in drug trafficking, but also in human trafficking. One of the satellite branches of this cartel reportedly developed that side of operations, smuggling migrants across the US border. And it's important to remind listeners, this is absolutely not a conspiracy theory. We're also talking about child trafficking and organ trafficking. These are notorious criminals. They're not just the kind of outlaw gangsters you see dramatized in Netflix series. They are slave drivers, involved in forced labor, sexual slavery, and more. So this is seen as good news for security in Mexico. What has just emerged is that there was official cooperation with the United States under Trump. It's reasonable to think the Trump administration played a major role in this historic operation. We know Donald Trump has been developing what some describe as a new Monroe Doctrine. This comes just weeks, even months, after the capture of Maduro. Trump has been putting pressure across the Americas to strengthen U.S. security. Fentanyl is also part of the equation. The fentanyl crisis has caused thousands upon thousands of deaths in the United States. Mexican cartels are heavily involved, and China has likely played a role as well. There have been allegations that China allowed precursor chemicals used to manufacture fentanyl to flow through, effectively turning a blind eye and contributing to the crisis. Some describe this as a very subtle form of Chinese soft power, fueling the fentanyl crisis indirectly through cartel networks. While this operation is being viewed as historic and largely positive, in places like Puerto Vallarta and in Jalisco, people remain on high alert. Yes.
I don't think I'd want to live there. Got to be honest. Got to be honest with you. Let's see. Was there anything else here? Think we covered all of it. All right. Think we got everything. All right. Let's go to the chat. All right. Anybody watching on YouTube, by the way, subscribe to the new Radio Baloney channel, Radio Baloney News. That's the second channel. This is where all of the world news, woke mind virus stuff, meme reviews, UK news, US news, all of that goes onto this one now, not the channel you're watching now. In fact, probably eventually everything will migrate over to the new channel. But for now, live streams, Canadian news on the channel you're watching now. And then Radio Baloney News, the new channel. It's been around for about 5 months. Go there for everything else. Thank you very much for that. All right. Let's go to the chat. And you guys are talking about pizza and root beer. All right. I'm going to scroll through till I get to where you guys are talking about what I was talking about. Nevada says that country should thrive with its resources. It does have lots of resources. And then pizza, which we're not going to talk about. And then now you're talking about, it looks like Mexican food. Let's see. Nevada says, hope the Mexico military smokes a bunch of them. Well, it's just kind of whack-a-mole, it seems, right? Like it would need like a real, like just military takeover of the entire country to deal with it. Because it's a parallel economy. It's a parallel government. It's just so insidiously entwined in everything now. Rosie says, yesterday my son flew to New Jersey for a family graduation. He is snowed in and the graduation is postponed for a week. Oh, it's a big storm there, isn't there? Yeah, big blizzard. Trudeau Survivor says, RB has good survival instincts, 100%. I'm not going to Mexico. I've been to Mexico a number of times. It's beautiful. Loved it. I went and saw the ruins and stuff. I don't have any desire to go again. Rosie says, people on the ground in Mexico have posted video on Snapchat of a burned out car in a town with no cars or people outside. Well, well, they're burning cars for one, for sure, and yeah, there's a shelter-in-place order in certain parts. Izzy got like number 5. I don't know how many that is. That's like 2 or something. 2 good karmas. There you go. Rosie says, my cousin boarded a cruise today that stops in Mexico this week. So your family is just having bad luck with the traveling right now. I think it'll be okay. Just stay on the boat. Dump to just stay on the boat. Izzy says, I wouldn't bring a hug to a gunfight. No. Rosie says, it seems the traffickers now chip the trafficked. High-tech slavery. It's really unbelievable. Canuck Six Stringer, how you doing? Bus with Michael Bublé's name on it burning in that last week. Really? I missed that. I'll take your word for it. Nevada says, who won the gold in hockey? Well, that was the USA. I did a rant on it earlier. You'll have to rewind if you want to hear it. But, I mean, it's the Carney curse. It's the Carney curse. And I said that before the game. Like, last time I talked to you guys, I said, no, it's the Carney curse. You had, like, the rugby team lost. You had the Whitecaps lose. You had the Blue Jays lose. You've had the Oilers lose. Canada is cursed. Canada is cursed. It's simple. It's just a simple matter of Canada being an affront to nature now. And the universe is deeply offended by our choices. So we're not going to win anything until we get this turned around and emerge from the morass of our deep, deep moral confusion. Canuck Six Stringer says, don't get off of the boat. Don't get off the boat. And I agree. Macross says, how you doing, Macross? Says that I hear Canada cheated at curling. That also happened. The finger incident. The finger. That guy fingered it. He got busted fingering at the Olympics. All right. Let's move on. All right. Armed man shot and killed after unauthorized entry into Mar-a-Lago. According to the Secret Service, suspect identified as 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin of North Carolina. There's a bunch of stuff coming out about this guy. I'm going to kind of stick with my rule of, giving it a day or two, letting the kind of fog of it all clear before we make any definite statement, because this happens every time. Like with that, every single time this happens, there's like fake pictures. It's not the right guy, all that kind of stuff that happened with that last event as well. A man in his early 20s was shot and killed early Sunday after allegedly breaching the secure perimeter of President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida. The Secret Service said the incident occurred around 1:30 a.m. when the suspect made an unauthorized entry at the property. The individual was observed near the north gate carrying what appeared to be a shotgun and a fuel can. Agents and a deputy from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office confronted the man, who was pronounced dead at the scene. So there's Mar-a-Lago, there's the north gate, and yeah, you're not making it. He's not making it. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those 2 pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and 2 Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. All right. Okay, so the internet is full of stuff on this. From Grok here is saying reports from TMZ, ABC News, New York Times, and others confirm Austin Tucker Martin was described by coworkers as a vocal Trump supporter who had praised him as a strong leader late last year. So part of the problem with Grok is that it treats all news sources as if that they're just real, they're authentic, because like it's TMZ or the New York Times or ABC News. This may be true, it may not be true. We've seen mainstream media just go off of just fake news, anonymous sources, even fake anonymous sources, right? So again, we got to give it a day or two before we figure out what exactly happened. He was reportedly frustrated with the economy and fixated on Epstein file conspiracies, believing in a government cover-up. His actions don't align with typical support, but that's what sources state. So yeah, I'm going to wait. I'm going to just wait. I'm not going to just buy that immediately. Libs of TikTok posted this. Let's take a look.
At 1:30 this morning, the security detail detected that a individual had made his way into the inner perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. A deputy and 2 Secret Service agents on the detail went to that area to investigate. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those 2 pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the 2 Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene. I'll give you a picture of the
Charles Darwin says, no mercy, no remorse.
Shotgun and the gas can to have with you. So that's what we know now. The investigation continues. The FBI is the lead investigation agency on this case, and we will be assisting them in whatever manner they would like. And they will be responsible for answering any other questions at an appropriate time. Agent Smiles, thank you, sir.
So I don't know. One thing I can tell you is I'm not taking ABC News or the New York Times word for it, right? Yeah, New York Times told us what? It's 5 officers were murdered on January 6th. They corrected it, like I think about 8 months later, to 0, which was real. But yeah, so I'm going to just wait. I'm going to hold my judgment on that. But yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff about that. Let's maybe we'll take a look. All right. Trump. Okay, hold on. All right. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent reacts to the failed assassination attempt on Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Let's take a look.
Us this morning. And Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining us. We had planned to have you on this program to discuss tariffs, but let me first begin with your reaction. Do you know if President Trump was in Washington at 1:30 a.m. last night?
Good morning, Maria, and good to be with you. I just spoke with President Trump. He spent the night in D.C. He was here for the National Governors Conference, gave a great speech to the governors last night. And, you know, Maria, I just want to say, why don't we look back here and think two would-be assassins dead, one in jail for life, and you know, this venom coming from the other side. Look at this terrible, profane Senate commercial in Illinois. I would call for them to take that down. Take that down, because it is that kind of venom that, you know, we don't know whether this person was a mastermind, unhinged, or what, but they are normalizing this violence. It's got to stop. I want to congratulate Sean Curran and the Secret Service for protecting the president and his family.
And how is it possible that this individual could have gotten as close as he did to Mar-a-Lago last night?
Yeah, for anyone who's driven along there, the perimeter is very very protected. So, you know, we'll see. I don't know whether did he come Did he come along the beach? Did he, I don't know, but I can tell you the Secret Service is running. They are so much better now than it was in Butler. New leadership, and
well, I should hope it's better than it was in Butler. I should hope so.
President Trump and his family, they're safe, but they shouldn't have to endure attempt after attempt.
And Secretary, will there be any further changes in terms of the president's security, the security at Mar-a-Lago post this incident?
Yeah, Maria, I'm not going to discuss that on TV.
So Izzy says he was looking for a hug, just looking for a hug. My kind of default position on assassins and their targets is that assassins are typically not fans of the person they're trying to kill. That's the kind of default I think that most people would fall. What we hear immediately is a huge Trump fan. It's like, well, I kind of feel like as we learn more, that may not be true, considering that it looks like he wanted to kill him. Again, assassins aren't usually trying to kill people that they like, right? It kind of makes sense, right? That they don't like the person that they're trying to kill. Let's see. Hyperbole Industries, third assassination attempt. Let's see. Nazi, fascist dictator. And we only meant it metaphorically. Yeah, let's see. Larry Elder, quote, if you don't want to be called a fascist regime or secret police, then stop acting like one. But people are simply just observing what they are seeing. That he's quoting Democrat Dan Goldman there. February 10th, 2016, 12 days before the third assassination attempt against President Trump. Well, there was the third in 2016. I know there was at least one where a guy jumped on stage back then, but there's been a bunch. There's been a bunch. Let's see. Let's take a look at this. So they've identified the armed man as Austin Tucker Martin. Let's take a look.
Shot and killed an armed man who unlawfully entered the perimeter at Mar-a-Lago early this morning at 1:30 this morning. The Associated Press is out with some new details right now. They have named and we have confirmed the name of the suspect, 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin. According to the Associated Press in this bulletin that just crossed, he was reported missing by his family a few days ago. Investigators believe he headed south and picked up a shotgun along the way, and they think that because they found a box for the shotgun in his car. The FBI is right now asking people that live near Mar-a-Lago to check their doorbell cameras, check any cameras that they have in their yards, so they can figure out exactly how this guy got into the area. But it is now believed, according to the AP, that he might have piggybacked behind a vehicle entering Mar-a-Lago lawfully when the gate opened. For more on this right now, let's go to Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson. He is at the White House where President Trump was while this all unfolded overnight. Lucas.
Good morning, Peter. President Trump was at the White House this weekend. He was not in Palm Beach where this incident occurred. And the Secret Service says they were assisted by Palm Beach County deputies who assisted in shooting the suspect, as you mentioned, named 21-year-old Austin Martin of North.
All right. So it'll take a couple of days before we can start to get anything really serious on who this guy actually was. So here's one of 20. Most people don't even remember this assassination attempt on President Trump. Campaign rally in Las Vegas. 20-year-old British man named Michael Stephen Sanford approached a Las Vegas police officer pretending to ask for Trump's autograph, then reached down and attempted to grab the officer's holstered Glock pistol, supposedly to shoot Trump. So that's the guy I was talking about earlier. So it didn't just start in that last election period, the assassination attempts. It started well before. Let's see. So there's the guy. That's him. There's Ryan Ruth. He's another one. Sentenced to life in prison. That guy. So that's not going well for him. All right. So that's what we really know at this point. And, we'll take a look again tomorrow and see if the mist, the clouds have cleared a little bit and things are a bit clearer. Actually, hold on. Hold on. Do I have anything else here? No. Okay. All right. So that's it. Let's go to the chat again. What are you guys talking about? Do-do-do. Nevada says they neutralized his ass instantly. That they did. They can't take chances. The guy's got a shotgun. Nevada says actually a very nice looking young man must be retarded or drugged out of his mind. I mean, it could be schizophrenic. You don't know. It will come out over time. But I'm very suspicious when I hear this happens. This happens every time. I mean, we can say now about people trying to kill Trump every time, right? Because it's multiple times. But I'm very suspicious when I hear the assassin was a huge fan of the person he was trying to kill. Actually, it turns out, yeah, that's never made a lot of sense to me. And it always turns out to not be true. Let's see. JJ Nevada says Secret Service fired all the DEI commies. Thank goodness for that. Mental health, how you doing? Mark Carney, asshole. Mark Carney is an asshole. He is. And it's the Carney curse. Hockey this morning. I'm sad to say I called it, but I do. I knew it. All right. Well, let's move on. What do we got going on here? Melanie Bennett posted this. Parliament studied anti-Palestinian racism and couldn't agree on what it even is. The Federal Justice Committee report was divided, with formal dissenting opinions warning of conflicts with existing human rights law. And yet school boards are already training thousands of teachers on it in secret. I mean, it's just farce at this point, right? So now they have to teach the teachers about anti-Palestinian racism. So I've got a feeling it goes something like, if you don't agree it was a genocide, then that's racism. Or just any criticism or any accurate description of reality, that's racism. That's how it goes, right? It's just ideological enforcement. School board refuses to disclose the $70,000 anti-Palestinian racism training video. Oh, I bet they refuse to disclose that. They don't want normal people. It's for children. It's to brainwash children. What's this? Let's see. Ontario Human Rights Commission. Islamophobia can be described as stereotypes, bias, or acts of hostility towards individual Muslims or followers of Islam in general. So just any criticism, any accurate description of reality or statistics, that's all an irrational fear. So when you see the imam in Victoria praising child martyrdom, right? Children used in war as martyrs, So when you see that and you say, well, I don't know about that. I don't think that's a great thing, right? That's an irrational fear on your part, my friend, right? So if you're a woman and you see one of the many clips of imams in Canada talking about how, yes, I mean, once they have enough political power, yes, all women in Canada will be forced to, cover themselves and be dressed modestly and adhere to Sharia law, right? If you notice that and say, well, I don't know if I like that, that's an irrational fear of Islam, just so you know. And the Human Rights Commission is on it. I mean, Human Rights Commission, the Human Rights Commissioner, the Human Rights Tribunals. These are all euphemisms for they're just star chambers, right? These things are an affront to human rights. If you don't even have dominion over your own conscience, all right? I mean, that's the most important human right of all. That's the most important fundamental human right of all, to be able to say 2 + 2 = 4. Right? So if you're not protecting that, if you're not protecting people's right to accurately describe reality, right? Well, you're not a champion of human rights. You're a totalitarian. You're an ideologue at that point. In addition to individual acts of intolerance and racial profiling, Islamophobia leads to viewing Muslims as a greater security threat on an institutional, systemic, and societal level. Well, this is where that whole statistic thing becomes a really inconvenient for the Human Rights Commission. That's why knowing about statistics is hate and an irrational fear. That's why the Human Rights Commission needs you to know that that's what the Human Rights Commission needs you to believe, so that you'll be afraid of just exercising your most fundamental human right of just speaking your mind. Let's see. Canadian Islamophobia in Canada. Tip line to report barbaric cultural practices. Islamophobia in Canada. So yeah, and there was a tip line because it was. I believe that was about female genital mutilation, which is very common in Islamic communities. So, all right, let's move on. But apparently, that's Islamophobia. Let's see, to be concerned about that. Islamophobia in education. Experiences of bullying or alienation by peers, including targeting and or excluding Muslim students or those who are perceived to be Muslim. So bullying is just disagreeing at this point. We all know that, right? That's just the code word. That's just a code word for just disagreeing, for just, for expressing your own basic human rights, which you're not allowed to have. Nick Osmond Jones, my government is taking out ads to tell me I should be a pansexual ally, even if I don't know what pansexual is. That means you think that you're a pan, I believe. Or you want to have sex with kitchen pans, I believe. It's okay if you don't know. It's okay if you don't know. Being an ally means learning as you go. What if the thing isn't real? What if that? What about then? Let's see, Canada. Let's see if we can find this actually. Pansexual government of Canada. Let's go take a look. Let's take a stroll on the internet. Let's see. These things actually usually come up remarkably quick. Like the government wants you to know they're concerned about these things. What's going on here? Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. What's this? Federal 2SLGBTQI plus action plan. Action plan. All right, everybody, get together. All right, you're a woman now. You're a man now. You're neither. You grab a dildo. I think I'm assuming that's the action plan from the government. Everybody, double time. Building our future with pride. With pride. Let's see. The action plan aims at advancing rights and equality for two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, additional sexuality, and gender diverse people in Canada. Adventure. I feel like they're not marginalized anymore. I feel like everybody else is marginalized now. I think they're front and center. I mean, they get like a whole month, for God's sakes. and then the flag's flying all year. Like, I feel like if anybody's marginalized, it's not them. I don't want anybody to be marginalized, by the way, right? What does that word even mean, though, anymore? It doesn't seem to mean anything. The problem with the left is they get a hold of a word like marginalized or racism or whatever phobia, and pretty quick it no longer means what you thought it meant. It just means anything they don't like. A more equitable Canada for the look. If you want a more equitable Canada, it needs to go the other way at this point. These are all the preferred people, right? These are Carney and the CBC's perfect people. Everybody else is flawed and boring in some way, apparently, right? Like you don't get any bonus points in the hiring process for being like a straight white male, right? There's none of that. In fact, it would be racist, incredibly racist and white supremacist, right? So this is the thing. The leftists, they tell you what they want. They tell you where they want to go. I want to go to this station. They get to this station and you think they're going to stop, and they don't. They go right past it until they drive the whole thing off of a cliff. It's never enough. They have to keep going. There always has to be some inequity or phobia or ism or ist. There has to be. Otherwise, what are they going to do? Right? Their whole ideology depends on victimization, even where none exists. So they have to make it up. Well, I don't see the pansexuals in here. Let's see. Engage everyone in Canada in fostering a 2SLGBTQI plus inclusive future. Do we really have to? Do we have to? Can we take the weekend off at least, please? Strengthen 2SLGBTQI plus data and evidence-based policy making. The problem with this is that it's impossible because none of it's based on evidence. It's all based on feelings. So there's a problem there. Incompatible. All right. Well, hold on a second. Let's see if we can find the pansexual thing. I mean, it's not that there's any doubt that this is. Let's see. Is it under the glossary? Well, let's see. Common acronyms used within the Government of Canada. Within the Government of Canada. So you got that 2SLGBTQ plus I blah, blah, blah. LGBT, SGM, sexual and gender minorities. SOGI, sexual orientation and gender identity. SOGI with an E. Sexual orientation and gender identity and expression and sex characteristics. Sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity and expression. So I'm just looking in here. Where's normals? Is normals in here? Is there normals in here? Is there not confused in here? No, doesn't seem to be. They're not interested in that. Let's see. Glossary, aromantic. This is the Government of Canada, people. Are you paying attention? This is the Government of Canada. This is Canada.ca. This is their glossary. Aromantic, a person who lacks romantic attraction or interest in romantic expression. An aromantic person's sexual and romantic orientations may differ. Aromantic lesbian, and they may have romantic and or sexual partners. So it may just be totally nonsensical gibberish. Now I get it. It's nonsensical gibberish. All right. Asexual biphobia, the fear, hatred, or aversion of people who are attracted to more than one gender. They must have a lot of trouble with that, the Canadian government. It must be just this ongoing struggle to deal with all that biphobia. Let's see. I hope they're spending $1 billion a year on fighting the menace of biphobia. Let's see. Heterosexual, hetero-romantic. Well, that's just, you could just say normals. Just normals. There we go. Pansexual. A person whose choice of sexual or romantic partner is not limited by the person's sex, gender identity, or gender expression. We used to call that trisexual. We'll try anything. Why is this the fucking government of Canada's business to protect the pansexuals? Why? That's just people's choice. That's just a choice that people can make, right? What's your type? Everything. How is this the government of Canada's business? Have to fight the menace of anti-pansexualism. Jesus. Let's say questioning. A person who is uncertain about their sexual orientation and or gender identity. This can be transitory or a lasting identity, and it's a good thing as long as they don't think they might be straight. Then they're racist or something. Let's see. Can you believe this? This is the government. This is how pathetic the government of Canada is. Good Lord. All right. All right. Anyway, pansexual. It's okay if you don't know. Being an ally means learning as you go. It's okay if you don't know what the fuck we're talking about. It's okay if you have no idea what you're talking. It's okay if you have no idea what we're talking about. Just obey. Just obey. You can't make it up. Why would you want to make it up? Why would you want to make it up? I mean, Cosmin Zerdza. Young men in Canada's military get their brains acid washed daily with propaganda telling them they harbor white supremacy and that having a family in the military is evil. This is what happens when you let fat, retarded leftist academics dictate defense. Enjoying the ride? Yeah, so we've heard a lot of money about increased funding to the military from Carney, not that really any pathway to actually getting and spending that money has been put forth. And I think we can just all assume that that's not actually going to happen. But nothing about lunacy like this. When I say that Carney is Turbo Trudeau, okay, for one thing, economically, he's Turbo Trudeau. And but also ideologically, he's Turbo Trudeau. He's every bit as woke as Justin Trudeau and more. I'm not your typical white soldier interrogating whiteness and power in the Canadian Armed Forces. Why on earth would you think this would be well received by soldiers, people who have volunteered to put their life on the line for their country? I mean, just the narcissism. And it's to me, this is sociopathic from these woke lunatics to think that this is appropriate for young men who have volunteered to put their life on the line for your country. Like, it's just evil, is it not? Supporting military families, challenging or reinforcing patriarchy. There's a point where it's actually evil, right? Because you end up, for one thing, with a military that is ineffective, that's just going to get people killed. But also just the total, like the arrogance and narcissism and disdain for the people in the military is so sickening. Friends and family anxiously wait for members returning from the last mission in Afghanistan at Ottawa International Airport on March 18th, 2014. right? Well, I hope they've been interrogated about the patriarchy while they were waiting. Lunatics, patriarchy, colonialism, white supremacy. And we don't even need to read this. We've all seen it before 1,000 times. I think this is actually evil. Let's see. We already covered that one. All right, let's move on. Just lunacy. Straight up lunacy. All right. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? What do we got here? Oh, this is good. There we go. She's a keeper. Let's see. Should we try and do an ad? We couldn't do one last time because the Rumble Studio wasn't being cool. So I know you guys like those coffee ads. I get 20 cents less for the coffee ad, but I'm going to read it anyway for you guys. All right, everybody. You still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. It's only 1,000 units. That's exclusive. I wish I could have one. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. That's the best kind of focus. No crash, no communism if you're watching Radio Baloney. All single origin, small batch, toxin free. That's the best kind, the kind without the toxins. And mold free. Ugh, yuck, mold. I don't want that. Thank God it's mold free. Plus, you're also getting, you'll never believe this, a gold spoon clip. Because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. What are you, some kind of dingbat? A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinion. Some kind of old commie Hank, probably. I hope not. And a black 1775 tumbler. A black 1775 tumbler, the best kind. That's $170 worth of coffee and gear. Yours for only $99, folks. That's under $100. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Well, spoiler alert, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. You don't want to be sad. Guess what? Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something. Jimmy and anti-communism, certainly on Radio Baloney, just like Rumble does. Talk about taking the bull by the horns, huh? That was something special. See, that's what I was born for. Now that I have the opportunity to read coffee ads for 47 cents, I realize that this is what I was actually born for. So really the whole live streaming thing, talking about the news and all of that, it's really kind of irrelevant at this point. It's really about the coffee ads. That's what I'm here for now. And they're such beautiful ads. It's a pleasure to read them for you good people. Rosie says, growls enthusiasm, commie hate coffee. 10 out of 10. And he can spell. 10 out of 10. That's almost the most you can get out of 10, I heard. Let's see. Macross says, you better give some commie hate. Well, I sure did. Nevada says, yeah, good idea. I need some commie hate. All right. Let's see. Mental Health says, well, I'm afraid if she's not careful, her milkers are going to pop out of her top. Pop out of her top. Well, it's very observant. I think you're right, actually. I hope she's not careful. Let's see. Nevada says, always, I just had my pizza and root beer. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Wait a second. Epstein. Oh, my God. I had no idea that JJ had been to Epstein Island, which we have to assume at this point. He's just talking about having pizza and root beer. Is that like an ongoing joke that's been going on in the chat for like weeks now that I just haven't gotten? Probably. I'm not that bright, as you guys know. Let's see. Izzy says, commie-free coffee. It's the best kind with no mold or toxins, and it's coffee. What more can I ask for? 1776 out of 10. I do believe that's almost the most you can get out of 10, although I am not a biologist. JJ Nevada says 10 out of 10. Love the commie hate. Again, almost the most you can get out of 10. Macross says, did you see Sweeney did Princess Leia? I did not see it. I did not see it. But one day, hopefully I will. All right. What are we, an hour and 16 in? Yikes. Talking about crazy town. All right. So Marty Up North posted this. Last week, Danielle Smith said that if you're going to call someone a Nazi, you better be referring to the Holocaust. This was regarding comments made by Notley and Lukaszuk. So Rachel Notley was the old leader of the NDP, the provincial NDP. You know, a commie, a dirty, filthy commie, a far leftist radical. Lukaszuk is the guy who is leading the anti-independence charge in Alberta. Let's take a look at what Danielle Smith here, because let's hear what she has to say.
Today, Rachel Notley and Thomas Lukaszuk have thrown out accusations of Nazi tactics when referring to this immigration approach. Could you comment on that as well, please?
That's gross. It's just disgusting. Any mention to, if you're going to call somebody a Nazi, you better be referring to the Holocaust and the devastation that caused to the Jewish people. It is disgusting language and it should never be used. If they want to have a serious conversation about immigration levels, let's have it. That's what a referendum is all about. And quite frankly, as I've mentioned, this is the same kind of policy that was affirmed last week by the federal government when it came to saying that temporary foreign workers should have private insurance when they arrive. It's the same policy that already exists in Ontario. And we are asking Albertans if they want to have a system that puts Albertans, citizens, as well as permanent residents first when it comes to taxpayer-funded programs, and then have reasonable premiums and the ability of those who are temporary to access the programs with their own resources. But that kind of language has no place in this debate.
Good. That's how you handle it right there. I'm a big fan of Danielle Smith. I think she's great. I think she'd make a great prime minister, actually. And yet that's how you handle it, right? I mean, they're so lazy. They have, they still haven't come up with something better than, okay, you're criticizing an issue that is important for absolutely a majority of Canadians, right? Far more than a majority of Canadians think that immigration is a problem. Mass immigration is a problem that too many people have come. Okay. So if she is talking about that, that's not fringe. That's not far right. That's actually a very popular issue that a lot of Canadians, again, far more than a majority, are concerned about. And just calling her a Nazi, because that's the implication, obviously, is not going to work anymore. But they just don't have anything else. I guess they're too lazy, or they're just not creative enough, or maybe it's a testament to just just how low their regard is for their own supporters, right? For the public in general, that they think they can just keep going back to the magic spell over and over and over again, right? Hey, guess what? Danielle Smith, when she hears you call her a Nazi, right? Her mind isn't going to get clouded in fear and confusion, right? And she's going to put her head down and say, well, I guess you're right. I guess I don't want to be called the bad name. No. She's going to push back hard, as she should, as everybody should, when these ludicrous claims are made. I think she was very effective there. Just so pathetic. Let's see. That is why she is still my warrior and will remain until the fat lady sings. Get the days of just being able to intimidate people with these same old lazy accusations. Those days are over. That's done. Thank God. They won't stop, though. It's just that they're, increasingly less effective. All right. Let us move on. What do we got here? French court rules that the 67-year-old Senegalese migrant Ousmane Diallo can't be held criminally responsible for killing 18-year-old Theo. Ousmane became furious in a mobile phone shop after having been told he would have to pay 93 euros for calls he made to Senegal. He stabbed Theo in the chest on one of his first days on the job. The court ruled that Ousmane is mentally ill and will be sent to a psychiatric hospital instead until he recovers. This is suicidal empathy, just lunacy. In fact, it's obscene, utterly obscene. What's this? Thomas Sowell. It's hard to imagine a more stupid or more dangerous way of making decisions than by putting those decisions in the hands of people who pay no price for being wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. The Shah of Iran warns Europe. Let's hear what he has to say.
Belgium, let's say. So I know this gentleman who actually wrote a book about Iran, who is doing some research as well as some teaching, and he was telling me that my apartment is 1 mile away from the Royal Palace in Brussels. Yet in my own district, there are some Islamists that are pushing legislation to conduct not only the Sharia law, but to segregate buses so women and men ride in separate buses in Brussels. Now I ask you as a European, have we come to a point where this country says not only you can come to a country as a guest, and instead of assimilating and respecting our values and our culture, you're dictating to us that we should now practice the Sharia law in Europe and incorporate it into the system? If that's the way Europe wants to end up like, then honestly, I'm lost for words. If that's where we have to get to that point. What I'm telling you is that Iranians, and I know many other countries in the region, are desperate to liberate themselves from this extremism, from this radicalism. That nothing good came out of this so-called Sharia law. Because in the name of Sharia law, the first thing that Khomeini did was to undo what the previous regime had brought in terms of equality, women and their rights with the family law plan. That was the first thing that they abolished. And then everything took a downturn. This is the consequence of a regime that was advocating Sharia law. We know how disastrous it's been. Just look at Iran and the state of affairs there. And now you think that's just a good example to follow for Europeans? Because they'll end up like Iran pretty soon. The writing is on the wall. And all you need to do is to ask the people who have actually endured it to tell you what it actually means. I don't want the Europeans to end up being where Iranians are today only to discover what it actually means. I'm just trying to save you time. But if you insist on that, so be it. But then you have only yourselves to blame.
So that is what is called these days Islamophobia. So, and it's called Islamophobia, an irrational fear, because what he's doing is accurately describing reality, right? And the reality that they will have to live under if all of this comes to fruition, right? So it's a mad world. It's a mad world. Mark Carney told us that those are Canadian values, by the way. Sharia is Canadian values, according to Mark Carney. All right. Let's go back to the chat for a second. Let's see. Rosie says, no, Richie, we are foodies. Pizza, root beer, chocolate, real food. Well, I don't know. I mean, I've seen the code words. I've seen the Epstein code words. I mean, we know what pizza means, right? And what is root beer? I don't know. I don't trust you guys. I think you guys are all cannibals. That's what I think. No, I know. Sometimes food is just food, right? Mental Health gave me 1,000 out of 10. 10 for that ad rate. Thank you so much, Mental Health. That's a wonderful thing. I believe the most you can actually get out of 10 is 1,001. I believe. Not a biologist. Let's say. Thank you, though. Let's see. But Richie, here it is again. Here's what again? What are you talking about? What again? What the hell are you guys talking about? Let's see. All right. Well, I guess all right. You guys are freaking out. Link Monkey, Mental Health says, all right, fine. We'll do it. We'll do it. Better be good, though, or you're dead. Right? Let's see. Just for YouTube census, I'm not threatening anybody. I'm joking. My audience is extremely safe. Well, that doesn't look like Sydney Sweeney to me. So, I don't know. Oh, hold on.
Oh.
Never give up on yourself.
Just want y'all to know if you're struggling with addiction or anything, I'm praying for you and I love you. So just remember you're loved and appreciated. Just want y'all to know if you're struggling with addiction or...
Well, that's a good message. All right. I'll let that one pass. That's a good message. What else? We've got some other ones here. What's this one? Mental Health. Copy. Oh, that's not it. It's the same one. All right. So, there's one from across here. What are we looking at here? All right, hold on. Copy. Paste. And what do we got? Well, that's just a big X. There's nothing to see there. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's try this one. Okay. Sydney Sweeney, approved, by the way, approved. This one is approved. Sydney Sweeney is being eyed by Lucasfilm to play a Jedi. Thoughts? Great rack. That's my thoughts. Great rack. Caster and whatever. Approved. Let's see. Yeah, no problems with that. No problems with that at all. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? All right. Nevada says, I used to say they all look like 10s by closing time. That's bringing back some bad memories. Let's see. What are we talking about? Izzy says, yeah, caring more for the rights of criminals over their victims is sickening to say the least, but that's how it works in communist societies. It's a way of breaking down societal trust, because the great fear is that people will, rise together. They will form, into large groups that can then overthrow the communist dictators, their tormentors, right? So it's a way of breaking down societal trust. Let's see. Spambot, how you doing, Spambot? Are my chats getting suppressed? He's asked. Someone please respond if you see this. Well, I can read. I can see it. Let's see. It's in the main chat. I think that's the first one I've seen tonight, Spambot, from you. So I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't working on your computer. I want to remind everybody I didn't have time before the stream to look at the stuff you guys sent into X. So we'll get to those tomorrow. And we're going to shut this one down as soon as I can, actually, probably in like half an hour. Let's see. Let's see. What's going on? Rosie says Mental Health liked your ad for sure and is also bribing you to play his video. I played the video, and I haven't seen any bribes either, by the way. Not any bribes whatsoever. Not even one. Not even one bribe. Nope, not a single bribe. All right. I played the video anyway, even without the bribe, because I'm a sucker, because I'm a chump. All right. What about the UK? So Wide Awake Media posted this. So maybe there's hope for the UK after all, with Rupert Lowe and the Restore Party. Rupert Lowe argues that Britain is effectively a communist state governed by organized crime, in which the hardworking are punished while non-contributors are rewarded, urging citizens to resist state overreach. It looks like he might be their last chance, right? Nigel Farage is just controlled opposition, it looks like. So maybe it's this guy. Let's take a look.
I think people have got to now wake up and understand that it's not only the political parties that aren't serving them, the media isn't serving them.
Well, it's the system itself.
And the essence of a free, as you know, a free democracy is the media must act as the safeguard for the people in challenging the politicians. But the problem is they're all one big club. So I urge people, spread the word. This isn't going to happen if people don't want it. And if they want it, as I say, you can't rely on a small group of people to do this. Everybody's got to do some heavy lifting now.
So
everybody's got to challenge petty bureaucracy. Everyone's got to challenge, the rules, the regulations, all of the things that are oppressing us. Challenge it. Do not do it legally,
of course,
but do not allow these petty bureaucrats and these people who are supposed to be serving you. Don't allow them to push you around. They're your servant, not your master. I think what's happened is, with the proliferation of the state, the proliferation of all the regulations and all the rules and all the things that tie us down and damage our quality of life, people have lost sight of what the state is there for. It is there to serve. I think it was summed up the other day by a young kid, and they say out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, but he said to me, why is it that everybody who seems to work hard and do their best is punished, and everyone who seems to do nothing and not contribute is protected? And that's where we are. This was a kid. He could see it himself. So if he can see it, surely everybody else can see it. That's what we've got to change.
I mean, it's very clear that it must be that the villains are in charge.
I think we're probably in the hands of organized crime, Carl.
I agree. I mean, it has to be that the people in charge are villains for the honest, hardworking people to be the ones who get punished. I mean, this is Solzhenitsyn's measure of what was a communist state, when law-abiding people are punished and criminals are set free.
Which we've got now.
Yeah, it seems like the UK government is like the sheriff of Nottingham, right? The British government is like the sheriff of Nottingham. It's really, it's also like that in Canada and pretty much everywhere in Europe, and waiting to take over in the States at their first opportunity as well. So it's terrifying stuff. But I mean, Rupert Lowe sounds great. He sounds like the guy for the job. They'll probably put him in prison. Actually, it's probably what'll happen. Let's see. Looks like we lost mental health. Well, thanks for stopping in. Hopefully we'll see you next time. As he says, after all they did to destroy Star Wars, do they really think I can be bought off by a pair of nice boobs? Well, it's a problem. The show, even with Sydney Sweeney, will be terrible, unfortunately. They're not capable of making good shows anymore, unfortunately. Let's see. Spambots waiting for roadside assistance. Yikes. Hope that works out. Keeping warm, good, good. Let's see. All right. Spambot says a truck on the highway dropped something and ripped the sidewall of my yikes. Snowy shoulder is too soft for my little Jack. Yikes. Yikes. Stay safe. Stay safe and stay warm. Oh, man. That's not fun. Here from Basil the Great. Tommy Robinson praises Rupert Lowe and slams Nigel Farage. Well, let's take a look. So, yeah, Tommy Robinson has had to leave the UK because he's now been issued, he has been informed that ISIS has put basically a price on his head, a fatwa out on Tommy Robinson, and that's very, very serious.
It's happening.
What do you think about Rupert Lowe?
Rupert Lowe is our Trump.
Yeah.
Rupert Lowe is the only political figure that will save Britain. Do not believe any bullshit about Nigel Farage. He's weak. These are Nigel Farage's comments, yeah? So don't believe. Nigel Farage's comments are, by 2050, the Muslim population is that dominant in the UK that we cannot alienate them, or we will never win an election. That's his comments. Now, we know that's coming. So that's why we need to stop that. Yeah, we can't get into a position where we have to bend and cower to an Islamic supremacist group because we're worried about offending them because we won't win an election. So Nigel is already putting up the white flag. Rupert Lowe won't put up the white flag. Rupert Lowe is the solution to our problems. Restore Britain is a new political party, 80,000 members this week, and Nigel has sold us out. He's betrayed us. Our next Home Secretary, if Nigel wins, is Zia Youssef, a Muslim. Our next Mayor of London under Nigel's Party of Reform is Layla Khan, a Muslim. Yeah. So, and why is that a problem? People say, why is that a problem? If it was a Sikh, would it be a problem? Because Muslims will tell you Islam comes first, second, and third, right? Not democracy, not rule of law, not the non-Muslim community, not any of it. All that matters is Islam. Now, when you understand the teachings of Islam, well, non-Muslims are treated second citizens. They're subjugated. That's the teachings is a supremacist mindset. Doesn't mean every Muslim follows that, but if they believe in the teachings of Islam and follow the teachings of Islam and the word of Islam, we have the problem. But I do say it
Yeah, I wonder, there seems to be a lot of people there that don't understand the seriousness and the precariousness of their situation. He does. And of course, that's why he's public enemy number one. Let's see. All right. What do we got here? So I just want to show you this quickly. So the propaganda, even in sports events, here's the hockey game. Wayne Gretzky, right? Wayne Gretzky, one of the greatest Canadians, but he's friends with Trump, so he's evil. A lot of Canadians now they hate Wayne Gretzky now because he's Trump. I told you guys last summer I was on the island and I went to a garage sale, and the owner of the house, I guess he had he had a bunch of collectibles there, and somebody picked up a Wayne Gretzky card. And he starts going, "He's a Trumper. He's a Trumper. He's a Trumper." And I just thought, oh God, he's friends with Trump. He likes Trump. He's a Trumper. He's a Trumper. Wayne Greasy. I mean, I was listening to this, and my head just about exploded. I just thought, I just can't believe that level of stupidity exists. I just can't believe it. I mean, how could anybody be that stupid? Wayne Gracie, he's a Trumper. He's a Trump. I mean, just sounded like an actual 65 IQ, complete and utter moron, and a boomer, of course. Right? A liberal boomer. There's a lot of awesome boomers. Some of them even watch this channel, right? A lot of great conservative and a lot of just great boomers, right? But the liberal boomers are insane. Right? Everything you've heard about the left-wing boomers in Canada is true. Wayne Gracie, he's a Trumper. He's a Trumper. I mean, you couldn't make up a more ridiculous stereotype of an idiot, of a leftist Canadian boomer idiot. Just total and utter moron. He's a Trumper. He's a Trumper. Anyway, that's what we have to put up with. But let's watch this. Of course, they have to put Gretzky through the struggle session here.
Unsettling
year for Canadians. The tension between Canada and the U.S. is at a point that we've never seen in our lifetimes, and the tentacles of all that have breached into hockey. We saw it at Four Nations Square. It boiled over. It will be a massive subplot if they play again here. And you have been pulled into this over the last year. What would be your message to Canadians today?
Very simple. First of all, let's worry about the game, right? That's most important. Let's hope for that Canada can get to that final game. But listen, I'm a hockey player. I'm a Canadian. I'm a true Canadian. I want Canada to win a gold medal. I've never wavered from that. I've been friends with presidents, prime ministers. Somehow, as you said, there's a little bit more tension than normal. At the end of the day, Canada and the U.S. are like brothers and sisters. They're going to fight and argue, but eventually you come together, right? And that's the way I see it.
Lastly, what do you think today? What's the key?
They're pure class. Pure class. Pure class. Nice. All right. Oh yeah, we already covered all of that. All right. We're at the last thing. We're almost done. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Rosie says to Spambot, praying to the God of the universe for quick relief and a fixed tire to get you safely. See, these good people, salt of the earth on my channel, in my chat. Salt of the earth, good people. Good for you, Rosie. All right. La 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 la. Da, 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 da. Rosie says, Richie, you need an off-stream chat, Signal, Discord, etc. That would require me doing extra work. So, but maybe you're right. Maybe I don't know. I don't really understand what Discord is, but maybe that. I don't know if I figure out what it is. Macross has got a link. Here we go. Let's see. Better be good. Better be good. All right. They pass other dogs like they're standing still. Just total non sequitur. Nothing to do with anything we're talking about. Just random. I just have this random thought that you have to put on the screen now. Okay, let's do this. I can't do the music. You know that. You know that, Macross. I can't do the music. We have to do it tomorrow. God damn it. Damn it, Macross. Oh, you guys are out of control. You know that? Completely out of control. Let's see. Hold on. Hold on. Completely out of control. Here we go. Let's put this one on now. There we go. That's better. That's calming. All right. We'll do that. Macross, don't feel too bad, even though you screwed up royally, quite frankly. But don't feel too bad. We'll do that tomorrow. Bring it back tomorrow for the premium stream. Let's see. Macross is forgiven. All right, everybody, don't be too tough on him out there. All right. Okay, everybody makes mistakes. Let's see. JDL, how you doing, JDL? In the Victim Olympics, which medal is best? Victim Olympics, which medal is best? I don't know. You have to be the most oppressed, which means you have to be the most fucked up. So I'm not sure. Rosie says, well, I am sad. He used all his dammits on Macross. But did I? Did I really use them all? I guess maybe we'll see. Damn it, Rosie. How dare you question the amount of dammits that I have? All right. Macross says all videos have music. No, they don't. No, they don't. Why are you saying that? They don't. Everybody knows they don't. Let's say, I don't know what the hell you're saying there. Let's see. Rosie, not his fault. It was his fault. It was, absolutely. All right, we're moving on. Besides, we're going to need stuff for tomorrow. We'll save for tomorrow. Save it for tomorrow. All right, fine. You guys are guilting me. Whatever. Fine. We'll play it then. All right, here it comes. No, turn that off. Do you know just how fast a greyhound is compared to other dogs? Well, here he goes. I'm guessing they're faster. There he goes. Definitely faster. Definitely faster. Yep. The other dogs are in awe of that greyhound. In awe of him. Well, that is a lot faster. It is still a total non sequitur, but that's fine. Oh, damn it. Damn it. I forgot to put the thing on again. All right, let's watch it. That's what happens. That's what happens, people. There you go. So there the dogs run. The normal loser dogs are running, and here comes Superstar Greyhound. There he goes. Loser. That's what he said. See you later, loser. See you, loser. All right. You shouldn't mock the other dogs like that. I think that's mean. They're doing their best. They're just not as good at running. That's all. All right. So there we go. Everything worked out in the end. All right. Let's get to this stuff. Bill Maher. If Trump somehow gets Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran all to fall, he should get a Nobel Peace Prize. He still wouldn't vote for him, though. That's the thing. Still wouldn't vote for him. Let's take a look.
We've seen these demonstrations in Iran before, but this was bigger and more people have died. But I think maybe more people have died because he said he was going to help. This looks like a Bay of Pigs to me. This looks like America's going to come and help you. Where is it? Remember the Kurds in 91 when they thought they were going to get help from America? Vietnam could make the same claim. I mean, a lot of people have felt let down by us. I thought Trump was different. Where are you on this? Because all these bodies that I see, these body bags in Iran, I think a lot of those people went in the streets because they thought, oh, he said he's got our back this time. Where's the help?
Well, the generals have told us that short of sending in a massive number of troops, it will be another Iraq.
Well, then what did he mean when he said?
I don't know, but if you look at it from a larger, perspective, because of Israel, this is one person's opinion. Because of Israel and President Trump's backing of Israel.
Yeah.
The Middle East is safer than it has been in 20 years.
Absolutely.
Hamas is on its knees, Hezbollah is on its knees.
I gave him credit for that.
Iran no longer looks invincible. And you know who is applauding us every step of the way? Not out loud, but the Arab countries.
Look,
every one of them.
If Venezuela causes Cuba to fall, if he somehow gets Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran all to be not these horrible places they were, he should get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah. Yep. But who knows how it's going to work out.
We've seen
Venezuela worked out as well as you could possibly hope, right? Iran may be a different story. What's this here? Here's Bill Maher. Here's Bill Maher again. Rothmus posted this clip. Let's take a look.
Don't get what? Abolish the police? Tear down statues of Lincoln? Maybe give communism another shot? Get rid of the border patrol? Get rid of capitalism? White supremacy has never been worse? Gender is always just a social construct? It's okay to have penises in the women's swimming pool in women's prisons? Okay. No, it's not that I'm old. It's that your ideas are stupid. Don't get what? Abolish the police?
Yes. But he just keeps voting for the same ideas. He voted for Kamala in the last election. In the next election, he'll vote for whatever they put up, a can of spam, he will vote for. Right? But that's all true. Everything you just said there, totally true. It is a testament to the power of just political fashion. Politics as fashion, as a part of your identity. For Bill Maher, his identity is as liberal, even if that word doesn't mean anything anymore. Right? That word has been abused into just total irrelevance. Right? But it's still just such a deep part of his identity that he just can't. And the word conservative is so fundamentally distasteful to him, no matter what that word means. Even if that now describes, with the categories all shifting and changing and everything being redefined, even if that word conservative reflects all of his views, even if it did, he still wouldn't vote for it. That's a problem with a lot of Canadians as well. They're just attached to a word that's just fashionable, and their identity is just completely tied to that word. And people need to get over it, because things are getting bad. Check this out. Wild footage of an avalanche at a ski resort in Italy. Check this out. Now, this is real, by the way. Look at these people just hanging around. I checked it out. This is real. This is real footage. This is not AI. No survival instinct, right? What are they saying up here? People seem to have lost all abilities to sense danger. No survival instincts for these people. I see that. I'm getting the hell out. I'm getting inside one of the buildings or so. I'm not just standing there staring at it going, oh, wow, that's a really big wall of snow that's barreling down the hill. That's a big avalanche that's about to cover me, right? Like, I don't know. What happened, I don't know exactly after this, but it just seems like kind of dangerous. Maybe just don't stand there, to me. I don't know. It makes a lot of sense to me. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Izzy says vote blue no matter who. Yep. People just live off that. Omnivas, how you doing? Trump must have some Epstein information against Bill Maher. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Everybody's named in the Epstein files. Any name that anybody's ever heard of is in that, right? A lot of it's just like news articles and stuff. Let's see. JJ says Nobel Prize is for pussies. Omnivas says Nobel Prize has lost all of its luster. Well, when they gave one to Obama for nothing, just for existing, right at that point, you have to kind of go, yeah, it doesn't really mean anything, does it? It's all just fake, right? Just like the UN, right? That they put Saudi Arabia in charge of the Committee for Women's Rights. Let's see. JDL says Iranian refugees may be coming. Well, they'll be, they're likely to be people who actually like the West and like the United States or Canada, who actually want freedom. Is the thing with the Iranians. Let's see. Rosie says, even if one does not see it, an avalanche is loud. Well, that's an excellent point. And imagine it would be very loud, wouldn't it? So that's a good point. I definitely wouldn't be one of these people just staring at it going, oh, that's really cool. That wouldn't be me. Rosie asks, we do not know your name. Yes, you do. It's Richie Baloney. Are you in the Epstein files, Richie? No, I'm not. No, I am not. Let's see. Unlike the Prime Minister of Canada, I've never met the man. Let's see. Nevada says we just lost 8 skiers in Nevada. Wow. Yeah, yikes, scary. All right. Let's see. So here's Bill Maher again. Let's do another Bill Maher. So once again, Bill Maher gets it right, even though he will never vote in his own interest ever, apparently. But here he is talking about Billie Eilish and leftist kids who don't know what the F America is about. Well, they know which way the wind is blowing. They know what's popular. They know what is the path of least resistance in their bubble, and that's all that matters to them. I've said many times that the Billie Eilish is, if it were 1935 Berlin, right, they would be Nazis because that would be the path of least resistance. That's where the virtue would be, right? Let's watch.
I want to first of all say something about Western civilization. Kids, you don't know what the fuck it is. And really, they think Western means white and white means bad. Kids, first of all, everything bad that white people did, people of color did it too. The Japanese before World War II and during World War II and Genghis Khan, and I could go on and on. The left is very down on America, very down on the West. And it's ironic because the West has also given us everything that makes your life good here. Don't ask Billie Eilish or Chapel Roan about what the Western values are, because they'll just say it's about oppression. Right. But it's not about oppression. It's about rule of law. It's about respect for minorities. It's about democracy. It's about scientific inquiry. These are all good things that came from the Western world. I wish that schools would teach that again. I want to first of all say something about Western civilization.
Yeah, Western civilization is just demonstrably the greatest expression of civilization, of human well-being, freedom, prosperity in human history. It's actually a miracle if you compare how people lived even a couple of hundred years ago, right? It's good. It's just an unqualified good, right? And you can look around the world right now, right? North Korea exists. Is Billie Eilish aware that North Korea exists? Is she? Is she aware that there's a billion people in concentration camps in China right now? Is she aware that if she were living in China, for saying what she said in a Chinese context, or say mentioning the concentration camps there, she'd just be disappeared. Is she aware of that? No, because she's an idiot. But she knows what she's allowed to say, and she knows what the path of least resistance is. And all of them will follow it. Again, as I've said a million times, if it were Germany in 1937, she would 100% be a Nazi, because that would be what the cool kids were doing. All right. Uh-oh, I got a frog in my throat. All right, I got to clear my throat. Hold on. All right, I think that's better. I need to clear my throat because something magical has happened. Hold on. It's still there. Okay, is that better? That's better. Something magical has happened. Something marvelous has happened. Rosie has done a $5 Rumble rant over here on Rumble for the channel, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I never thought I'd live to see such a beautiful moment. Guess what? That makes Rosie best person ever. I mean, there's been some greats in history, some great people, some impactful history, some people have changed the course of history, and they're all great, right? You can think of them, but all human garbage compared to Rosie. Rosie, best person ever. And I want to thank you again so much for appealing to my greed. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. All right. What are we doing next? Thanks, Rosie. What are you guys talking about? Ottawa James, how you doing, Ottawa? Ask who we won the curling gold, though, eh? I didn't know that. I didn't care. I don't care. Does that make me unpatriotic? Don't care. I barely care about the hockey, in all honesty. I used to be one of those guys, who's living and dying by the team. Not anymore. That's dumb. Now I do right-wing hate speech on the internet for hours every week instead of watching hockey. I do like to watch the highlights from the Oilers to see Connor McDavid, though. But that's only like 5 minutes. All right. JDL says it's recreational activism 100%. 100%. There's no downside for a Billie Eilish, right? You saw the pod people clapping like trained seals. They do it because it's the safest thing they can do. All right. Rosie's asking Spambot, who is stranded right now on the side of the road in Alberta, which is not a great time of the year for that. Keep us updated. Also, if the wolves or polar bears come, please preserve your last moments for us on video. What a moral monster Rosie is. What a moral monster. I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to pull through. Hang strong. Hang in there, Spambot. We're all pulling for you. Xerxes, how you doing, Xerxes? Good rant against Billy Baloney. Well, thank you very much. It felt good. Felt very natural for me. Let's see. JDL says, welcome to the Cool Kids Club here. It is. No nerds. That's our only rule. No nerds. Anybody's welcome, but no nerds. Let's see. Ottawa James says, see, I love it when I know you guys are paying attention. Richie predicted we'd get the Carney curse, and I was right. Not just the men's, the women's as well. It doesn't make me happy. I wish we didn't have the Carney curse. I wish we didn't lose everything now. Right? But it's just the way that it is. Right? And I've said it. I'll say it again. It's just a simple matter of Canada being an affront to nature. Right? To Canada deeply offending the universe with our idiotic choices and the frankly awful things that our society does. I mean, we just talked about the 26-year-old guy who got medical assistance and dying for seasonal depression. Right? I mean, this is Canada. This is a country that prides itself on child sex changes. Right? We are an affront to nature. We are deeply offensive to the universe. It's no wonder that we've got the Carney curse. We deserve it, quite frankly. I wish we didn't have it. I wish we could turn this country around. But no, I mean, I'm not even being facetious. Like, I think we are literally cursed because of our appalling, atrocious behavior as a country. The awful things that we not only allow, we celebrate. Spambot says, don't worry, I will try not to pet any white bears. All right. I am impressed that Spambot is keeping a sense of humor during his ordeal. I would be miserable. Let's see. Xerxes, did Trump say China will steal ice hockey from Canada? I do believe he said that. I think he was joking. But yeah, probably. Carney will probably sign some deal for I don't know, to have, the 3% of the canola tariffs taken off, but Canada can't play hockey anymore or something because China doesn't like it because they're not good at it or something. I don't know. All right. McCross says, don't pet the yellow bears. That's right. Okay. All right. Let's just move on. We can't do this one. Can't do that one until tomorrow. Can't do that until tomorrow. Can't do that until tomorrow. We can't do Jesse Lee Peterson until tomorrow. Love Jesse Lee Peterson. He's the best. All right. Well, that's it. I guess that's it, folks. I guess that's it. What are we? 2 hours and 5 minutes. Not the longest stream, but you know what? Sometimes I'm lazy. Sometimes I'm just tired. All right. Well, I guess that's it. All right. Everybody like the stream before you go, though. Don't forget to like the stream. Maybe I'll do one more ad read before I go. Wouldn't that be delightful? Let's say, 78 cents. Let's do it. Not letting me do it. Why? I've got enough people. Let me do it. Oh, for God's sakes. Ridiculous. What's this one? Can I do this one? Here we go. All right, guys. Big announcement. Pickaxe is officially launching an iOS and Android this Thursday, February 24th. If you're tired of algorithmic manipulation, shadow banning, and platforms collecting your data while throttling your reach, this is for you. Pickaxe is built to be the most human-centered social media platform on the planet. No algorithms deciding who sees your content, no data mining. We're making social media actually social media again. And this is huge. And this is huge for the Rumble community. Your Rumble videos play directly inside the Pickaxe newsfeed, just like native content. No redirects, no losing your audience. Seamless integration. We've already got major voices on the platform like Diamond and Silk, the Vigilant Fox, Rampage Jackson, Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, Children's Health Defense, Shannon Joy, and many more. And the Rumble gaming community is showing up strong. The Joker, Uncle Pudge, Midnight in the Mountains, Vapin' Gamers, Chavez Flexington, Soundboard Lord, Cat Dog, and a bunch more are making Pickaxe their home base. This is about owning your audience instead of renting it. Mark your calendar for Tuesday, February 24th. Go to pickaxe.app today to pre-register for the app in the Google Play and Apple app stores and be ready the moment we go live. You are the algorithm. Good times ad reading. Now, I had to just stick to the script on that one, so I'm afraid there was no commie hate. Let's see. All right. Izzy says, Rich, you should raid so we can keep an eye on Spambot. Okay, let's do that. So before we go, I want to thank everybody for showing up. I appreciate it, you guys. If you guys weren't here, I wouldn't do it because it'd be super depressing. But if you guys are here, it's not. Blah, blah, blah. And, okay. So anyway, I just want to get that out of the way. Let us find a raid. Rumble. Rumble and then live. We'll go to live. Okay. And then where's live? Let's view all of the lives. Cartel Chaos Erupts. They got an Epstein in there and an alien. This looks pretty good, folks. Should we try that one out? Although it's got 8,000 people in there, so the chat may go by too quick. Let's see. What's one that's not too many people? That way you guys won't lose track of each other. Let's see. I don't know. How about Real America's Voice? Is that fun? Should we do that? Not really seeing any chat in there, but I guess you guys can. All right, let's do this. Real America's Voice. because there's news going on. You guys can catch up on the updates. All right. Copy. I got to go down here. Let's go raid and then paste. Raid. Hopefully it works, and let's give it a try. All right, here we go. Confirm raid. Ignition, rechecking power levels. Final checks underway. Raid starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. All right. There we go. All right. So I guess that's it. I guess that is it. I don't see any chat in there either, actually. So I don't know. Hopefully it works. All right. Anyway, that's it, everybody. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow, 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern. Everybody have a great night. See ya.